G'day guys, it's Jake here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Please do your own research when it comes to investing. Be sure to check out my links, including the exchanges I use and the social media content that I post. All right, let's go. Okay, so the topic for this video, we'll be going over the indices, the stock market, the crypto market, just overall the sentiment that's going on. And yeah, so looking at different, like the heat map going over the day was just terrible. Warren Buffett, what he's doing at the moment, and just some predictions and going over some tweets that I've made. And we'll wrap it up with the logarithmic regression curve for Ethereum, see where that is tracking, and I'll give you an update on where I see that going for the end of the year as well. So first up, we have the Nikkei 225, which is the Japanese stock market index. And what can I say? Just dreadful. I've never seen this in my lifetime. I was born in 2000, and this thing's been around for a long, long time. And 12.5% in one day. That is the second worst day in its history. The last time it was like this was 1987. The Black Monday crash. All markets went down pretty heavily. I think the S&P went down like 20% in a day. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But NIKKEI, this is the second worst day in its history. Just today. Japanese stocks are getting smacked too. So, yeah, and you see the headlines, and it's just horrible. 8-month low. It's worst day in 8 years as markets fall. It's pretty much since 1987. They downplay it. A lot of the news, like CNBC and Bloomberg. So some wide range of panic going on right now in the Japanese market and in the Asian market. And you can see that, from the last week, we had S&P down 1.8%, NASDAQ down 2.5%, and Russell was 3.5%. So that was last Friday's session. And it was interesting to see how it is in this session. And yeah, it doesn't look good for the opening. Like seeing this is ridiculous. 12.5% in a day. Oh my God. Can't believe it. This is crazy, guys. Living through history here. It's nuts. So the next thing I want to talk about is Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has sold nearly half its stake in Apple. It's his company, Berkshire Hathaway, which is up there in the top 10 most valuable companies in the world, and they're selling half their Apple. So I think they started buying Apple around 2013, I believe. Could be wrong. But mid-2010s. And now he's starting to sell half his stake, which is quite aggressive, So he knows something's up. It's not quite right in the market. So you can see that he disclosed filings as earnings that hold in the iPhone maker was valued at $84.2 billion at the end of the second quarter, suggesting the Oracle of Omaha offloaded more than 49% of this tech stake, even after selling Apple's remaining largest stock stake by far for Berkshire. It's the biggest, largest sell for Berkshire of Apple since it's owned it, so horrible. Oh. So unloaded $75 billion in equities period, raising conglomerates cash fortress to $277 billion. So that's his largest stockpile of cash ever. So it's huge, man. He's around the Berkshire meeting in April, I think it was. His stockpile of cash was about 180. Now it's 277. So quick, big jump. So he trimmed his stake by 13% in the first quarter and a lot more in the second quarter. So yeah, he's half out of Apple. Well, actually more than half, because he sold 13% then, and then a bit more now, 49%. So over half is sold. And yeah, people say, CNBC saying why he's selling. It won't be clear exactly why Buffett is selling down the holding Berkshire first bought more than 8 years ago. Whether company reasons a market valuation or because the portfolio manager's concerns. So they won't say why he's selling. He knows there's a recession on the horizon and he's getting out before it takes a big beating. And you can see, after hours, after that was announced, it's now down 8%, Apple. So not liking it at all. So yeah, very, very, very bad for one of the Magnificent Seven stocks. So crypto land, horrible day. What can I say? Horrible, horrible, horrible. I think Bitcoin was down as much as 16% at the 16 or 18% for its very lowest wick, but now it's sort of recovered a little bit. It's down 13%. ETH's down 20%. Crazy. BNB 15, Solana 15%, XRP 15%, and it goes on and on and on. And all these ones, there's only one green here. It's like slightly green. Everything else is just bloodbath. This is one of the horrible days that I've seen in the space. I've been in space since 2021, and this is probably the worst since 2022 when we had the bear market. So bad day for the crypto land. We also have S&P 500 versus basically comparing against the HYG-IEI. So junk bonds versus treasury bonds. So junk bonds are underperforming the treasuries, and there's a big sell-off there. Lowest levels in 2024. While the S&P is going up, this was going down before it, and now it's starting to correct and catch up to the bond market. So the high-grade junk bonds versus treasuries there. But also the treasury yields are plummeting right now. So the bond market's freaking out, and the stock market's starting to catch up. So yeah, it's all starting to hit reality as recession kicks in. So very, very bad for the bond market and stock markets. We'll go over my Twitter. I just wanted to go back to a tweet I made, part 1. So talk about crypto dominance pairs, and the first one we'll talk about is USDT. And I did expect this to shoot up to here by end of year. So this target was 6.5%, which is a 61.8. I think it's a 0.5%, 0.5 fib retracement from the top to the bottom is a 0.5 fib, so half retracement. And I expected this to happen by end of year to 2025 and be my full-blown target for the top of USDT. And we'll come back to these, okay? I just want to show you. Bitcoin dominance, 56%. I expect it 60 to 63 is where my target is for the end of the year. As we transition to QE, we have to wait for QE to happen and the balance sheet to roll back over, and that'll be the top for Bitcoin dominance. Not happened yet, so still charge up. Crypto market cap, this is others dominance outside the top 10, and I see this breaking the trend line. As you can see here, this is just a representation of what happens when the Fed tighten and they ease. The price goes up during easing and down. This is the dominance. This is not price. This is dominance percentage of total crypto market cap for the outside the top 10 cryptocurrencies. And we go down for QT as the Fed reduces the balance sheet. The price goes down. We go up for QE. The balance sheet just skyrockets up, so does the price. And now we start seeing down, and look at the price is going down. And now, as we speak, this is breaking below this trend line. And we have the final chart here, which is, this is the total 3. So final chart for the 4 picks for the crypto dominance charts. So we had back here 2019 when gold broke out. As you can see here, we had touch. So we had the resistance level and we smashed through it. What happened? We topped in total 3, topped when gold broke out. And then we crashed 72%. Okay, as represented there. What happened here? Had the same thing, had a line, right? We had the first peak, nearly got close to it. We touched here. We sort of stumbled around for a bit. This goes back to 2020. And we broke through with aggression. And what happened? Total 3 topped. Gold broke out, topped. Now it's coming down, okay? Now as you can see, it's right down below here, below this downward sloping trend line today, so it's really getting a hit. And I do see it going back down to these lows, okay, made in the bear market, 2022, late 2022 to 2023, and touching again at around 300 billion is my projection for crypto total market cap, excluding ETH and Bitcoin. So it's total 3, so get rid of Bitcoin and ETH and the rest of them, as we did here in 2019, where we actually came back down to the 2018 lows, okay? We had lows here, and we came back in 2020 and reclaimed it, right? We tested it. So we had a high, and we had a low, and then we touched the lows, okay? We had a high, we had a low, and we're going to touch the lows again. So we had a cycle peak, mid-cycle, and a little bit past the mid-cycle. So I'd see it playing out exactly the same due to the fact that gold will be on a tear. Gold's on a tear. It's just simulating, well, not really. It's reality. It's playing out exactly like 2019. So it's pretty crazy how it's happening in real time. And yeah, so they're my predictions for those. I'll come back to them. We have old Bitcoin pairs, and so I see the 97 to 1 level, right, is the top. So we had peaks here and here. We had a wick above it. This is on the monthly chart. And we have QE goes up, QT goes down. This is total 3 minus USDT divided by Bitcoin. So old total 3 against Bitcoin, okay, priced in Bitcoin. And yeah, it shoots up in QE and then shoots down in QT. All right. And this is the interest rate cuts, okay. So this is the balance sheet, which is what I'm referring to. So it goes up in QT, which is a QE, sorry. The blue goes down when there's QT. It goes down here because the balance sheet was going down, going sideways. So we're going up. All right, I'll go back to the interest rates. And it's the same chart, okay. My projections are the same. I see it going down to 0.25 is a low, which is these lows touched. So I see it going down again to reclaim that level. And you can see breakdown 1 month before the rate cut. So there's the 1 month candles, and we closed below this support level, okay, durably. After we had a high and we had this consolidation, and then we broke down this consolidation. We had a high, we had consolidation, and then we're breaking down, okay. And I see it's in August, durably to close below this level, and then find a bottom sometime after the rate cuts occur, okay? So this is 1 month before the rate cuts happen. So this is, because the rate cut is white, is not, it's just a drawing, it's not actual. The blue is what's actually going on, and at the moment they're flat. When they cut, I see them cutting the Fed cutting in September, and from that, it'll break 1 month before, which is August, which is now, and it'll close below, and it'll make its way down as the rate cuts come. And as you can see, the price drops into rate cuts. We flattened, it rallied, so for relief there. And then they big, see the big cuts, see the big drop. Look at the price, just went bang against Bitcoin. So not good. So that could happen. That could panic cut, and that'll just drive it going right down against Bitcoin, okay? So that was a balance sheet and the same target, and it's the same 1 month before rate cuts, okay? We have others, Bitcoin. I see it going down to these levels, okay? Touch from 2017. Touch. All right, the balance sheet, it's the same thing as the other charts, no different. And we get to QE, we'll find a bottom. Wherever that is, we don't know. When it starts to tick up, see it marks the exact bottom. This is not the bottom. I can't go back any further. We can see it marks the top of QT, marks the top with QT. See the balance sheet, marks the top. It's opposite with QE, marks the bottom. All right, so where that bottom is, I don't know. Next year sometime, we should see it. It collapsed. Like had a drop here, 67%, had a rise up to here, 65, and then down 62%. We have a drop, 68. They're very similar, 67, 69% pump. Not too much different there. And then a drop of 71%. So this is 62. I believe it's going to drop even more due to the fact that we're in a recession. Things are a bit more nasty, and yeah, it'll come back and revisit these lows. All right. So that's my projections there. And Ethereum, Bitcoin, I see it going down to this box with this upwards trend line. Touch there, and touching again. As the balance sheet stays flat, it goes up. The balance sheet goes down, it goes down. Balance sheet goes up, it goes. It's the same as the other ones, guys. I'm just going to repeat myself, but you can see it follows the blue up and blue down. Blue across sideways is good, so it goes up. Now we're going down. Obviously, ETH is bleeding against Bitcoin, and today I'll show you it actually touched the top of this box just today, and this is where we were on the 31st of July, so only less than a week ago. All right, so pretty crazy. What's going on? So that's happening there. And that's the last one for that one. That's part 2. And then we have part 3. Okay, so pretty, this is more or less just the USD pairs. All right, so I've got a couple of altcoins down there and the major altcoin ETH. But Bitcoin, I did draw this up end of July. This is just a rough, rough drawing. By the end of the year, I see it going into 41,000, which is this level here. It's also the upward sloping big trend line from the bear market bottom. And then this last summer, America, and it's rising, and I reckon I'll meet with this support line, intersect, and break out of this downward parallel channel as the MACD keeps going down. This is the weekly, so it's got a long way to go. And we'll see more downside. Today, we actually got to 51K. So I was like, shit, maybe a bit lower by the end of the year because it's already down here. It's already here. This was only like less than a week ago. So, yeah, brutal day in the crypto market. It tells you a lot, So this is ETH. I did say ETH 2,000 by the end of the year. Well, today, on one of the exchanges, it was Kraken, I believe. We've already hit $2,000. So it's already touched it. It's bounced a little bit off it, but it's already at $2,000 today. No, so by the end of the year, it'll be at 2,000. This was only, like I said, less than a week ago. So things are absolutely going crazy to the downside. And now I've just sort of adjusted my targets, and I actually see it going sub, around $1,000 level now is where I'm seeing ETH go because of how, brutal. And the recession's only just started. So the Fed hasn't reacted. There's way more downside to come. And I could show you in this regression channel, the next tab, why I see more downside. And same with Bitcoin, to $1,000, which is the lows of the bear market. And we have optimism. It's an altcoin. I had a trend line. We hit, from 2022 June, came down to it, and then just how consistently accurate it was. We broke down. We faked out. We bounced up, and now we're actually back down here. So, down to this support level. And I did say 40 cents by the end of the year. It hasn't been hit yet, so that's one that can still play out over time. And the last one's Aerodrome. I'd say bounce up, down. We've actually broken down, right, since. Right, we've come down aggressively to like sub 60 cents. So we are aggressively falling. But I do see probably going to 30 cents by the end of the year, or if it's things tracking the way they are, especially the drop, I'm adjusting my target to 8 cents. So I said going even lower since we got into the early 50s today. So, it's not much to get to the 30-cent level, especially because it's a volatile altcoin, Pretty bad day. And part 4, we have some stock stuff. So, it's I'm not sure exactly where the stock market's going to go, but they're just rough estimates, all right? And what I drew up the other day on my Twitter, and you can go and follow me for this. It's Jake Perenni, Jake_Perenni, all right, on Twitter, and keep up to date with what I'm sharing, my charts analysis. So we'll go back to the crypto dominance pairs, and I want to show USDT for a second. So USDT, I mentioned this level, that we'll hit it by the end of the year. So this marked out. And today we hit it. We already smashed it. Look at that, smashed it. Absolutely brutalized it just in one daily candle. Just absolutely bananas. 19%. What? Oh, I just cannot believe it. Today's been an absolute bear buster. It's been horrible. Just blood everywhere, man. Just shoosh. Definitely risk off environment now. It's coming to fruition. People are starting to realise that recession is here. Okay, these moves don't happen in bull markets. I mean, it's not this aggressive in one day, especially. And so, yeah, I've touched it already, and now I've adjusted my target to the fib retracement level of 0.76. Okay, so from the top to the bottom, it's a 0.786 level, which is these highs here. It was 0.5. Now I've adjusted it to hit that by the end of the year or going into 2025. I'm not rushing this one. This could play out, look, sometime in the mid 2025 probably or so, but fairly quickly. It won't take too long, probably even earlier than that. We'll have to wait and see, but my target's already been smashed. So yeah, that's that one. I talked about Bitcoin dominance going to 60%. The previous tweets there, and we are at 57. I think there's a bit of a glitch here. I don't know what's going on, but we did touch 58% dominance. I posted it today, and it says we haven't actually hit it, but we actually have hit 58% dominance. So a bit of a glitch on the charts there. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they fix that. So I do see it's still going up to 60 to 63 at the very, very end of the year, going into 2025. My targets I mentioned on the Twitter. Others dominance. I did mention this trend line. It would break eventually. I don't have targets for this one specifically, but probably this low here. As you can see, others was just that was the USDT. That was a drawing. I've already hit this level. I do see it's going up to there for big time dominance, and this is the trend line, goes back to 2016. So touch, and now we're breaking it. Okay, so, and we're breaking it right there. The 3-day, you can see it's breaking. All right, so this is no longer valid. If it closes below this level, it's no longer valid, especially on the weekly candle. And I see it's going to like lows of like 7 or 8%. By the end of the year, durably, it could come down even lower to 6%. Haven't drawn levels yet, but this is not holding up very well at the moment. And then we have total 3, which I did project it will touch the lows, right, in the bear market, which we did, back in this one. Okay, we touched it here in the COVID drop. Came back to these levels, okay, touch. After gold broke it out, I showed you on this chart here. This is the total 3, and gold. This is the gold price in yellow, and it broke out. Okay, and it topped and it bottomed, broken out, and we've topped, and we should get the same as that. Okay, so some bleed till we come back to these lows again. Righto, this is I expect to come back down to these lows at around sub 300 billion is my target for this total 3. I want to see that before I enter the market. And I do see it getting there sometime next year. Not this year, but probably in the next year. But we'll see how brutal this sell-off gets. It could happen sooner than you know. Look at this sell-off. It's absolutely ridiculous. The total crypto market cap, can't even... I'm lost for words. Look, one day, down 14%. The whole market cap, excluding ETH and Bitcoin, down 14%. Brutal. This is a channel. It's been respecting it. If we go back to automatic, you can see it's perfectly being sort of bouncing up down the channel. The support line was here, and I thought it would bounce off this level, but it's broken right down, and we broke through it. Okay, like I mentioned, and going very low. Oh, don't know when, but very, very soon. We've got total 3, like I mentioned on Twitter, and it's breaking down durably. We go on the weekly. As you can see, weekly, we've had closes below it, and we're starting to durably close consistently. Okay, I did say 0.25 was my target. Righto, touch. 1 month before the rate cut. Okay, if you go to the monthly, you can see a bit better. And we're seeing this monthly candle just absolutely drop like a rock. And I'll show you on part 2 that this is what's happening at the moment. So this monthly candle here, as you can see, where this red line is, look at that, we're sitting in support at, 5 days ago, and then now look at this, brutal on the monthly. So yep, it's playing it exactly like this one, where it closed below it 1 month before the rate cut. Okay, so we had interest rates reduced right here about a month before it. Okay, see it's flat and it cuts. So a month before we closed below the level. Right, we had a consolidation, and now we are about to cut. Haven't cut yet. Okay, and I do see September around this time frame, in the middle of these two. Okay, these 2 months, in the middle of September, we'll see a cut. Okay, it'll be big cut. It'll be 50 basis points is my prediction to stimulate the market, because we're getting a bit of fear, max fear, and there could be other things that could be erupting, the news around the world. But the bond market's freaking out, stock markets around the world, and crypto is following along suit. So yeah, it's just playing out exactly like 2019. So we had the rate cut there. We had another month down. Okay, at a pause. There's no cuts there. And the next month was a cut. And it sort of found its bottom around these lows. Okay, touched these lows. We went up a little bit because we had a pause, which is quite bullish. Okay, pause. And what happened? Like I mentioned before on the tweet, we had aggressive cuts. Well, that was one cut. One cut. Look at that, from 1.75 down to 0.25. A 150 basis point cut in one go. Look at that. And it just sold off like crazy. Market just freaked out. That was a pandemic drop, so that's why it really dropped like hard, like a rock. And yeah, so that really happens because how high we are. The rates are really high. This is the 2019 levels, and we are back at 2008 rate levels. So very similar, but it's not restricting the economy as much because it's a bit different times, and it's not as bad looking as 2008, in my opinion, the economy. But we'll see how it trends. I watch the job market, the inflation numbers, and all that. And that's coming out this week, I believe. The inflation numbers, I think, or next week. I have to check that. So yeah, it'll be something to look forward to see what price action happens around that number. But yeah, I just showed you that just playing it the same as 2019. Others, Bitcoin, it's at support. Okay, at support, which is this level here. Okay, I got a support level here. After the highs, we had the highs. Okay, we had a lower high here, same as this, and now we're back down to this level. Okay, so we're just at these levels, and then when the rate cuts arrived, we actually had a monthly close after the rate cut. As you can see there, the rate cut happened at a monthly close. So we should get a monthly close after the rate cut. So we haven't closed below it yet, as you can see. And it's playing it exactly the same as that one. No different, okay? And then wait till QE happens. This is green, and then that's when it will just take off. All right. That's what you need to watch out for. And I just see it going down to 0.08, as mentioned. Next one. And this one here, okay? So it's the same chart. We're now here. We should break and head down to these levels as drawn and predicted. End of July. ETH, Bitcoin, this is up with certain trend lines I mentioned. We had touches here, and here. And now we're coming down to here. We actually touched the top of the box. And we should get a durable break pretty soon, like this one. Okay, so the support level. We had a high, we had a low, we had a high, we had a low, we had a lower high than that one. Lower high than that one. We bleeded down. We made a base. We traded sideways. Back to this low here, okay? And we durably broke and capitulated down to market's bottom. And we're just waiting for that capitulation to play out exactly like the 2018 to 2019. okay, after the rate cuts come. And I'll just show you that in ETH Bitcoin. The rate cuts, very similar. So we had a rate cut and we had a monthly close, okay, after that rate cut, below the support. And what's different this time to that one is quite shocking, is it's actually closing below it right now before the rate cut even arrived. So this happened as the rate cut came. We had a monthly close. And this is happening before the rate cut. So this is a little bit different to the other charts I mentioned, the way the rate cut timing of it. And like I said, we did touch it today. We go to the daily and zoom in more. So you touched the box just about, you know. Look at that price action. Oh my God. Look at that. That's just horrible. So yeah, we're at this box, and the lower end of this box is at the 3.5 of a Bitcoin. I do see it coming out there and bottoming around that level there with this rising sloping trend line. Okay. In line with previous cycles. And yeah, it all depends on the QTQE. Okay. So it's not really following the rate cuts, this chart. You'd more or less, you got to look at the balance sheet, and it's still bleeding, you know, which it is, which I showed you with the blue thing. This is orange. So we have the bottom, all right, when the balance sheet bottoms, and then we shoot up, the price slowly trickles up, and then a big jump, and then eventually it just skyrockets, okay? And then we bleed down, the price bleeds down. So ETH against Bitcoin, so ETH versus Bitcoin. So you top here, and then we just bleed as the balance sheet bleeds, and the dominance of ETH against Bitcoin bleeds. QE, flat, and it just outperforms Bitcoin. A bit volatile, as it was a very new asset here, okay? Very, very, it only just launched around 2015, so very, very up and down, but it ultimately to the upside, all right? And now we're going down because of the balance sheet. Restrictive monetary policy means lower risk assets bleed, high risk assets bleed lower risk assets. So everything bleeds to Bitcoin in the crypto market. And yeah, so let's go to Bitcoin price. Let's go to different charts and get rid of the balance sheet, okay? So it looks pretty nasty today, as mentioned. And I'll show you how much we're down on Bitcoin, like horribly. 15%. So I said 16%, so nearly just about 16%, depending on the exchange. So bad day for it. And been chopping up and down in this channel. And I did say on my tweet, if I go back to there it is. I did say 41 by the end of the year, okay? And we're not far off it now. Like we're just, we're at this support level. So I said we'll inevitably touch this level. We're going to come back down. I don't see this being a breakout. I said, no, this is not going to break out. And we saw wicks. I thought, okay, this is it. This is a rejection. We're going to go down. This is right after the Bitcoin conference, and Donald Trump started speaking about Bitcoin, calling it, looking at it as a reserve for the government, as an asset to store on their balance sheet. And as that announcement happened and the whole speech unfolded, we had a bit more upside because it looked bullish for Bitcoin, and as a government looking to buy it, And what happened? Boom. Since that happened, if you want to measure it from the top of this recent low, Bitcoin's down 30%. So do you love Donald Trump for saying that? I certainly don't, but it's part of the game. All right, you can blame it on him, but usually when there's someone like him, he doesn't understand the space. He's a huge political figure, celebrity. Everyone knows him. He's one of the most famous people in the world. He starts talking about it, and what happens? We top, and boom, we capitulate. All right, but this is not the end of it. All right, this is not the end. I do see it going down to 41K. All right, in line with the Bitcoin risk. All right, so we're at 31 at the moment. And I'll just show you a bit more clearly the Bitcoin risk. Let's turn these on. All right, I'll go lock everything. And I do see it coming down. And I'll just show you on a bit better so you can see a bit clearly. Turn performance mode. You should be able to see it nice and clear with the colors of the red shades. And we're hovering around what are we, 30-ish? So, yeah, so 30, 31, obviously. We want to see us down even lower at the next risk band, 43. It's current levels. Okay, that's currently, but obviously it goes up over time. So 43 is 20, and then 10 risk is 36,000, which is around here. Okay, 36. About there. I'm very good at math. Which is the, trend line. It goes all the way up, right? Okay, it goes up and intersects. This is on logarithmic chart, so it doesn't match up properly. Okay, when I go to a normal chart, you'll see it. But this is the very bottom of the risk. So the zero level, the very low is 30K. So this, I think we'll see 30K again. But as this rises over time, okay, and going into the end of the year, if you really want to take it and give it a bit of a projection, you line it up with the trajectory going into the end of the year, roughly around somewhere around there-ish. The lowest point I think Bitcoin can go in terms of this line, obviously if it drops down lower here, it's around the 31K. So, if it really capitulates down in this month, but it keep rising in September, 32, and by the end of the year, if we really wanted to see it touch it again and bottom out, possibly 35K would be target. Okay, it'd be 0 level, or the 10 level would be actually a bit higher. It'll be, just trying to think, where's a 10 level, 36K here-ish. As that rises up, it'll be above the 40K, be at the 41K, okay? So looking at around 10 risk level by the end of the year, it's 41K is my projection. And if massacre happens, worst comes to worst, session's really bad, then a 30K or 35, 36K Bitcoin, okay, is my lower end target, 35 to 41K Bitcoin by the end of the year. What I'm seeing according to the risk metrics there. So I do see that playing out quite considerably, okay. And yeah, so that's going to happen. I think it looks pretty likely now since we had this big drop today. So definitely some fear going on. And yeah, this upward sloping trend line, I've drawn back there, and you can see back on my tweet, I did mention this, and it's just line up with that and the support level at 41K. But the mid 30s, and somewhere in the middle of this, could be a possibility as well. Okay, so that's that one. ETH, USD, he'd say $2,000 by the end of the year, and guess what? ETH? This is on Kraken. We touched it today. We went below it. We actually went below $2,000 today. So we already touched it. Look at that. Oh my God. Woo! This is a bad one, guys. ETH after its ETF launch is just nothing but down, man. 29%. Horrible. So mid-July was the ETF launch. So we just traded sideways. And then woof. Kaboom, baby. Kaboom. Away we go. 46% down. So it's half its value since I'll go a bit higher, the wick here. Nearly half its value gone, erased. Just wiped off the face of the earth after the ETF launch. And that's why, ETH Bitcoin pairs going down drastically because of this, underperforming Bitcoin. And I did say by the end of the year we'll reach this level, but not now. Come on, hold your horses. Just slow down a bit. Calm down. All right, sorry. And you can see this channel here rising up. Okay, and we're back in it again. We're back in this channel. So we broke out above it. We had, touch, and we broke out above it. We came down, retested it, and then shot back up, made a lower high, down, made a support level, another lower high around the ETF, and then it's gone boof, down. And now I've marked this level of 1,000 out. I thought, nah, this is going lower now at the end of the year. So 2025, all right, by the time that happens, in December, I do see it's going down to 1,000. Potentially. Don't want to get too optimistic, but it could play out. It could take a bit longer to play out, okay? This is not financial advice. Don't take this and bet on it. It's just a prediction. There's nothing. I don't know what's going to happen, okay? It's just a prediction. As it's already hit my target, 2,000. There's a mid-level here at around $1,500, roughly, okay? A support level here, so it could come back there by the end of the year and take a bit longer to capitulate down. We're in August, so we do have 4 months to go. So anything can happen. All right. And it's really just based off, I go to the weekly. All right, I'll show you why I think this. And as you can see, it's logarithmic chart. It's quite funny. We had a channel, okay, rising up after we bottomed in the bear market in 2018, the last crypto cycle. We chugged up, we topped, we broke below. We broke just after the Fed cut rates, okay? So ETH, the Fed cut rates right here, obviously. This, they cut after it's flat, cut. We still trickled up for another couple of weeks, and then we just broke. Right, a couple of weeks after the rate cut, we broke below the trend line. My mouse is cut out. Excuse me for that one. And we just bled, okay? ETH just bled right down. Righto. So that was after the rate cut. So after this all panic in the banking sector. This is before the pandemic, okay? So they cut rates in response to a repo crisis, which is the banks lend to each other. They have a interest rate, and it went really high, and the Fed had to step in and save the day by starting QE and buying up bonds and driving that yield down, that interest rate down, okay? So that's what caused the cuts back in 2019, and we bled, all right? And we came back down, and we touched the bottoms of the bear market, all right? So we came down, touched it, right? So we revisited these levels a couple of years later. Oh, about less than that, less than 2 years later, right? Made the low, got around 877 for this cycle. It's 2021 and 2022. And now we are looking at coming down to here. All right, this is what happened last time. All right, with rate cuts, we had this channel. It's more like a wedge. See, it's like a wedge. So it goes up like a rising wedge. We touch, touch, touch. We break out, we come down, and we sort of come at these lows. I'll show you better on the, it's a channel on the automatic charts. On the logarithmic, it's a wedge, all right? It's a wedge if it looks like that. It's like a wedge, you know what I mean? Like a wedge, so it comes in like that, rising, break, and the rate cuts, I do see is breaking below the channel. This support 2000, slightly after the rate cuts come, okay? This should durably break after that and head down to 1500 and then 1000. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing happen, playing out as rate cuts arrive. We haven't seen the rate cuts yet, and we ultimately revisit these levels. All right, it's just plain simple. We chop inside this channel. It's a bit different to the last one. We had a channel, all right, and we didn't break out of the channel. We wicked and we came down. All right, we came down. This channel's a little bit different. Who cares? Broke back down. We're back in it again. So it's very similar in the way it's sort of the lows, the lows touch it and the lows touch, right? And if you look at this one, it's the same. The lows touch, the lows touch. Don't worry about the highs, the lows. It's the bottom one that really matters, that upward sloping line. And the same here, all right? Upward sloping line. And we're back to revisiting this level again. When that breaks, when the Fed cut rates. So $1,000 target. And the altcoin's not going to go over them. And this is not pre-market yet, so we can't really see what's going on. But that's the price predictions for the crypto market and some stock market news, especially the NIKKEI. And we'll end it there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a long one, I know, but I said I wouldn't make videos longer than 20 minutes. But it's been a hectic day, and it deserves a long sort of analysis and looking back at my price predictions, and we're checking back in 4 days later, and seeing that things are playing out quicker than expected, because there's big, massive panic and fear in the markets at the moment. NIKKEI down at its lowest levels in months. And we've got the biggest single drop in a day. It was the second biggest drop in a day since 1987 for the NIKKEI. So really, really bad for the Japanese market. They're freaking out. And stock market indices are down pretty bad in the pre-markets. So everything's following. And the crypto market took a big tumble today as well. So everything's calming down. But so we discussed that. And I did say we'll talk about the regression channel for ETH. But we'll do this in another video. It's getting a bit long. We'll talk about that, and we'll do a more in-depth analysis of ETH. And I want to break it down a bit clearer. but I'm just going over it, what I'm seeing for price predictions of just the entire market cap of total 3. It's it against Bitcoin, also others against Bitcoin, ETH against Bitcoin. I showed you all that, and also where I see just individual Bitcoin, ETH going, and altcoins. Well, I did show you that quickly on my tweets, but if you want me to cover more altcoins, I can do that. But really, they'll just follow the market leaders. Bitcoin and ETH will tell you where the rest of the market's going to go, so don't have to worry about individual altcoins. If you really have price targets for those ones, it's more or less just following the top 2, Bitcoin and ETH. Bitcoin, more or less the whole market, and ETH as the collective altcoin market, to give you understanding of where your alts might bottom. Okay, as ETH bottoms, which is around $1,000 in my prediction. I've changed it because it's already hit 2,000, so I've got to go lower. It looks like my panic's going to come. And also we've talked about Warren Buffett. He's another. It all makes sense. He's selling into this fear. He got out before, really dropped really hard. He's one of the smartest investors ever. So it really makes sense that the big guy like him's getting out, selling half his Apple shares. Like, that's just, Apple's his biggest holding, by the way. That's his biggest holding, and he's selling half of it. So quite staggering. He knows there's doom and gloom. Well, doom, really. It's doom, not gloom. It's doom, it's down. It's doomsday. It's recession. And I'll talk about another video too, recession, why we're in recession. But I just want to keep this one more about the crypto market, and where I see some price predictions going, and I want to come in, check with what I predicted 5 days ago, and things are playing out aggressively as not predicted. So not financial advice, but yeah. Okay, so if you enjoy this video, I just want you to smash the like, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to stay updated, check out the links below. And with that being said, I'll catch you next one. Cheers.